by the administrator.
I, Vice Admiral retired Ibas, do solemnly swear affirm that I will be.
Meanwhile, President Tinubu swiftly swore in retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas as sole administrator of Rivers State. After the ceremony, Ibas pledged to work with stakeholders to restore stability.
If the main issue is that of maintaining law and order in the state, I think for any meaningful activities to take place in Rivers State, that is the utmost task that I have, to work together with all other stakeholders to ensure that we bring peace, order, and security and stability to the people and government of Rivers State and Nigeria at large.
While critics call it a political power grab, the government insists it was a necessary decision to restore order and prevent a constitutional crisis. From the presidential villa, Adesua Omorwan, Arise News.
Thanks, Adesua, for that report. Rufai, Dr. Bati, we have now a statement from the Attorney General of the Federation, Minister of Justice, coming out yesterday to justify the actions taken by the President. Are you satisfied with his submission, his arguments for why he wasn't hasty, why the President had to do what he had to do, the complicity of Governor Fubara, and the almost removing of Minister Wike from the entire crisis? Your take on this story?
At first, before we continue, I would like to greet Mr. President Tinubu this morning. Kábíyèsí o, Kádé pẹ́ lórí, kí bàtà pẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀. Igbákejì òrìṣà, Kábíyèsí o. Because President Tinubu is Kábíyèsí o. A man that can go against the constitution where there's no provision to suspend the governor.
In a democracy.
In a democracy, something he complained about. Even when he complained against Jonathan, Jonathan did not suspend the governor. They still kept the governor in place. So Kábíyèsí o, and I will be greeting him like that every morning. Kábíyèsí o. My Egbon Lateef Fagbemi even knows that what he's saying does not have conviction. There's nothing in it. Egbon. I know this man. Brilliant lawyer par excellence. But you see, you can't defend Magomago. It's difficult, no matter who you are. He's talking about the governor not controlling people when they were going astray. He didn't see when Wike was threatening the Ijaw nation. He didn't see all the threats Wike made. He didn't see the skirmish Wike made when he went to do that rally, or just over the weekend. He did not see the moves made by the governor when the governor rode to the State House of Assembly. When the governor went there and they were locked out, he didn't see all those ones. He should show us in the Constitution where it stipulates that you can suspend. Because Obasanjo did it, does he make it right? Dr. Abati has given them, I see, Dr. Abati, take it. Your analysis yesterday, take it 100%. They have given it, I know they are all scattered. I know they will be calling you at back. I don't care. We'll say it the way it is. You can't fault a law. It's the same law school everybody went to. It's the same things they taught everybody in the law school. Preservation of the Constitution. And even shows that when they wanted to plan the evil, they couldn't even plan it well. I'm even more ashamed because I thought they were strategists too. They didn't even plan on how to get the tutors from the National Assembly already. They didn't plan that well. So it was yesterday they were now thinking. They now went to the Senate. They were looking for tutors. They couldn't find. Now they now adjourned till today. Can you imagine? So in all of this, you people couldn't even plan on how to get your tutor properly. Then they started in their frolic again. I'm going to bring Senator Natasha's matter. They start a bungled recall yesterday. The world saw it. They lied to the people of Kogi that they wanted to give them empowerment. They got there just to be able to get their, PVCs and all of that. You see, this country is increasingly losing the essence of democracy and is enthroning dictatorship. And that's why I'm calling President Tinubu Kábíyèsí. And some people have started deceiving him now. Some people within the APC, they are saying, declare state of emergency in Osun. Go ahead, do it. There's nothing you can't do again. You have violated the Constitution. But it will be incumbent on the Senate to speak up as regards this. But, AGF Lateef Fagbemi, your arguments did not hold water. There were a lot of conjectures. There were a lot of half-truths. How did you know? Can you provide empirical facts that it was Fubara that bombed the State House of Assembly? And as I wrap up this point, see, I'm not talking here totally in favor of Fubara. Fubara and Wike, they are the same. They both ran the state. They were both shenanigans. Fubara benefited from a flawed election process under Wike. What we are fighting here is for the principle. Fubara is just the one on the receiving end of the fight against principle. It's not that I'm saying Fubara is a saint in this matter. I rest my case.
All right.
Can abuse you.
Okay, I'd just like to deal with some of the fallouts from yesterday. I've had some ambulance lawyers. There are lawyers that are ambulance chasers. Again, that there is a particular law that was passed in 2018 empowering the president to suspend or remove the governor of a state or the democratic framework in any particular state. Now, it is track law that a subsidiary piece of legislation cannot be superior to the Constitution. Anybody who ever passed through a faculty of law should know that you cannot use an act of parliament to vary the content of the Constitution. The only thing you can do to the ground norm with the Constitution is to amend it. So failing that, all the people are saying there was a piece of legislation in 2018 that gives the president powers. I say no. And I say that they are wrong. If they have evidence to the contrary, they should provide it. And I'm not even sure that particular bill, there was a bill to that effect. I'm not sure that was passed into law. The second point is that the Section 305 that everybody is quoting is very clear. It says that the president will take his gazette, his proclamation, to the National Assembly, and that the National Assembly will either approve it or reject it. Section 305 sub 6 says 2/3 of each of the two houses, the red chamber, the green chamber. Now, the question that this raises is, why the haste? Because yesterday, the president, just went ahead and, swore in the administrator. Well, obviously, I was advising the sole administrator yesterday not to accept that appointment. But I think that I offered that opinion in vain. He himself was probably very much interested in grabbing that position. But there's no provision in the 1999 Constitution for the position of a sole administrator. Yeah. This sole administrator now quickly went to Port Harcourt and has been giving speeches. He will work with people. He knows where we get here. It's, enthusiastic, desperate acceptance of that position speaks fully to the Nigerian character. This, it is my turn and I will grab it kind of thing, whether it is legal or not. Now, the Attorney General of the Federation, whom I accused yesterday of misadvising the president with due respect, has now said in one of the things I've seen in the reports that, the federal government even helped Fubara. Otherwise, he would have been impeached. Well, if he was impeached, that would have been a better route for the government to take, because that is constitutional. It's in Section 188. It can be removed. It can be impeached. After all, the Godfather said, if you impeach the governor, it is not a crime. And, that would have saved the president the embarrassment of the kind of conversation that we have been having since yesterday, that the president overreached himself. So the Attorney General should have given the proper advice. All the excuses that are now being given are flimsy. I even saw one statement saying, it was Fubara that organized the explosion of pipelines, along the Bordeaux-Boni axis. Now, if they have any proof to that effect, then by this morning, the federal government should have arrested him, because that will amount to a crime against the Nigerian state. That will amount to economic sabotage, and economic sabotage is not allowed. So it's not enough for newspapers to just say, Fubara was the one behind the explosion. No, please, that's not an intelligent thing to say. And now, beyond all of this, that same Section 305 sub 6 says that the National Assembly should act within 48 hours. And that if the National Assembly is not in session, it should act within 10 days. Now, there's been a big miscalculation. What is a big miscalculation? The National Assembly is rushing out to meet that provision because it is it cannot form a quorum. Yeah. The embarrassing thing we are hearing is that most of the members of the National Assembly are either in Europe or in the US or in some other parts of the world for religious reasons. So Nigerians have seen that these legislators, they are just absentee legislators. And that is why we say that there should be a part-time unicameral legislature in Nigeria, because these people, they don't even, they are not available when Nigeria has an urgent issue of national importance. So we have to now, they are looking for quorum because everybody is on holiday. That again is embarrassing. But now to the issue of quorum. 48 hours will expire today. Let us assume that by some magic, because even the Constitution of Nigeria does not allow for WhatsApp voting. It does not allow for absentee voting. You have to be physically present. Let us just assume that today they are able to form that quorum, and everybody will be present also. The threshold for the House of Representatives is 270. The APC does not have 270 members in the House of Representatives. I think they have maybe about 172. So they cannot, on their own, form a two-thirds majority. In the Senate, the threshold is 73. I think the APC, the ruling party, has 58 in that Senate. Now, what it means is that if all the opposition members do not support this proclamation by the president, it means that it is dead on arrival. And so we call on the opposition parties to defend the Constitution of Nigeria, to defend democracy by mobilizing their members, not to vote for an illegal, dissolution of democratic structures in a river state. Now, that voting process must also be televised. We want to see who is the House of Reps member, who is the senator, who is going to vote against the Constitution of Nigeria, so that the people who put them there would, ahead of the 2027 elections, know who supported what many groups have condemned, from Femi Falana to Rotimi Amechi to Rivers Women United for Fubara to Nigerian Labour Congress. Only the presidency is saying what we have done is right. We want to see that voting live. And I hope that the political parties will speak to their people to say that you must stand for what is right. After that, they may go and impeach Fubara, but that will be the right thing to do. That will not be a problem. Yeah. But to read into the Constitution what is not there is the challenge. Absolutely. And all those lawyers saying anything can be done with the Constitution, well, I don't know which faculty produced them.
All right, a lot has been said. And
Majority lawyers.
Just to say that this is why